Hey y'all, happy Thursday. Just wanted to, jump on, do the thing. I want to talk today about being yourself in every area of your life. Because if you're not yourself, you're miserable. And then everybody around you is miserable because you're not being yourself. And it might not look that way right away. It might take a while. But there's this systemic issue of when we're not ourselves, we burn out. We do things we don't want to do. We agree to things we don't want to agree to. We want to be everything for everyone. We want to people please. We want to do all the things, and we're busy all the time. And we're just chronically burnt out. We're chronically stressed. We're chronically burnt out. We're anxious. We're depressed. And we don't know why. But are you being yourself? Do you even know who that is? Because that was my problem. Somebody could tell me, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself. But I was like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. And then I started actively pressing into, am I being myself in this moment? What am I doing right now that is me identifying as being myself? And honestly, it took me years. So it started with myself and a friend of mine recognizing that we're just putting on a mask for the rest of the world. And this was 8 years ago. And so we worked really, really hard at taking off our masks, our theoretical masks. This is a weird conversation to have in a pandemic. Anyway, so I worked hard to take off my fake mask. I worked hard at being myself. But I had to take the mask off first, and even to be able to take the mask off and then look in the mirror and know who I was. And that was an identity shift. Sorry, there's a bug in my face. When one comes straight at your eyeball and you're like, there's a meteor coming at my eye. I don't know what's happening. That just happened. Anyways, so being yourself is incredibly important. And now I want to fast forward. So I've worked really hard the last 3 or 4 years the masks had come off. And in the last 3 to 4 years, 2 to 3 years, I've worked really hard at it, just being myself. Not just me without a mask, but being myself. Not the person that everybody else thinks I should be or that they want me to be, but me. With a lot of help from my partner, and that's really made all the difference. Because it's not just learning how to be myself, it's learning what I deserve, and that informs who I'm choosing to be as when I'm being myself. And that concept was pretty weird and wacky. And I've talked about that a couple weeks ago, finding what you deserve, I believe. And this process has been really interesting because when you do things, you start to interact with new people. You start a new job. You join a new club or a new organization, or you're spending time with different people. And when you're not being treated the way that you deserve to be treated, or when you recognize, ooh, this feels a little unhealthy, or any of those kinds of things, you recognize, first of all, you have to ask yourself, can I be myself in this situation? And if I can't, what am I going to do about it? Am I going to leave, or am I going to have the conversations I need to have in order to make this work? And you might start with one and move to the other. And ultimately, though, you have to decide, can I be myself here? How am I going to do that? If I can't, ultimately, if I have the conversations and I still can't be myself, I need to go, because that is no longer a healthy place for me to be. And I see people all the time in situations that, first of all, they're more capable of what the situation they're in is. But secondly, people stay in situations because it's what they know, because they finally got the job, or they were finally with people that they felt accepted by at first, or they found some kind of weird belonging there. Maybe it felt a lot like how they grew up, and that doesn't mean it's healthy. Just because something is familiar doesn't mean that it's healthy, doesn't mean that it's good for you. If you can't be yourself there, it's time to go. That might be a hard choice. That might feel super scary. But if you can't be yourself, it's not worth it. Take the scary road. Step out in fear. Be like a turtle and stick out your neck and see where that can take you. In order to see where the next step might be, your head has to come out of your shell. And you have to look around and see, like, what are my choices? Am I able to be myself? Because if not, it's time to go, man. It's time to go. And being yourself isn't just like, it's not just about being in the right environment. It's also about creating the right environment. It's also about living up to your own standards, taking your own advice, doing the things that you enjoy, and not being so busy that you can't function. If you're too busy to, like, oh, I don't have time to take care of myself, there's things that have to go. Not just one, there are multiple things that have to go, because if you don't have time for you, who do you have time for? If you don't have time for you, who do you have time for? I would argue no one. And this is something that I've really been learning in the last couple years, and it's hard. It's hard to live a life where you can be yourself all the time. It's hard to make the choices to live a life where you are your first priority. But when that becomes your priority, is being yourself, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say that people respect you more for that. People hold that boundary for you. People respect that, and when they don't, it's because they recognize that you're doing something for yourself, that you are grounded, that you are comfortable and confident with yourself, and they might not have that. And they don't know how you got there, and they're jealous. That's what they want, and they don't know how to get there. And it just comes down to being yourself. So here's to hard decisions. Here's to taking risks, all in the name of being yourself. Make it your priority. Your life will be better when being yourself is your first priority.